I've carefully recovered one of those motors off the boat. Still bits of epoxy stuck to the wires, and I'm not going to attempt to get it off because I'm more likely to actually break the wires or pull them out the back of the motor, so I'll have to live with that. So that's going to fit in there nicely. As I say, I think this is a smaller motor than the one that's intended, but I think this will be lighter than the radio controlled version, so I shouldn't need as much power. I intend to make this free flight with a 10-second timer, as I keep saying. I did a video on one of these the other day, designed by somebody at the Peterborough Model Flying Club. Field effect timer using a MOSFET, one of these things, a tantalum capacitor. I'll put a link in the video description to where this all comes from. And we also, what I've been using is a potentiometer, so I can vary the resistance across here. What you do is you charge up the capacitor using a separate battery. That switches on the MOSFET and allows the power to flow to the motor from a separate battery, and the capacitor slowly discharges through the resistor, and depending on what resistance you set it to depends on how long it takes to shut down. So I'll solder one of them up. Probably fit it under here somewhere. You need two of those legs to be sticking out so we can touch the battery to them. Just stick that on there for now. Positive side of the capacitor goes to the positive side of the MOSFET. Now, potentiometer, that one's the common. So what I did was I bent it across and soldered it on top of there, like that. So that's the MOSFET, tantalum capacitor and variable resistor. And then the motor goes onto the middle one, which is the drain. Then through the motor, through the battery, and then the battery is then also connected onto the source there. Okay, that's the right way round. So we can glue that in place and we can get on with the soldering. In fact, I'll do the soldering first. For demonstration purposes. Just hold the motor steady. Positive to this side. Okay, well that was a bit too long for my liking, so we'll adjust that. Let's go that far. And as you can tell, that was a bit quicker to stop. So I think we've got the principles there. So the battery, I'll probably just put sticky tape on it so we can adjust it forwards and backwards to give us some sort of centre of gravity adjustment. This thing, we need to glue it in place so those two legs are sticking up. And we need to glue the motor in place. So I'll do that. I'll use Gorilla Glue because that will fill up all the gaps then. Just using those pieces of foam either side there to hold the prop or propeller straight, so that when that Gorilla Glue starts expanding and tries to move the motor, that should hold it straight. That's my theory. Good morning, guys. All up together. I've just got the battery taped in place. Got a little tab on there so I can pull the tape off to adjust the centre of gravity. At the moment it is spot on where it should be, but I don't know how that will equate to using it for free flights that are radio controlled. I've put the carbon fibre strengthener across the back there. I've just glued it straight on top. I was going to cut a little slot for it and bury it in, but I've just done it that way for now. I've extended the legs on the timer there. I don't know if that's visible. I've made them a little bit longer and put nice little rounded ends on them so I don't have sharp edges to get my fingers on. This will be loud, but I'll just demonstrate it. I've got it set for quite a short run at the moment. So we just touch that on there. So actually that's only about 5 or 6 seconds. Just enough so we can see whether it's going to fly. I can always take a screwdriver with me and adjust the time. And that's quite handy that the propeller is protected with fuel cells, fuel tanks. So, ready to fly. I was saying that I was going to round all the edges off. I haven't done that yet. I did score along the elevator positions so we can adjust them to give us a bit of trim. Same with the rudder. But my intention is just to give it a very short free flight and see what happens. And then in a month or two's time, when the radio control receiver arrives from eBay, we can either build a completely new one, or I can chop this bit out, put the receiver in there, and the receiver has the servos on it, so we just need to connect from the servos to the elevators, ailerons, and then have fun trying to get the mix right so that we get proper aileron control. It might not last that long. I might throw it out in the field and it might disappear into the distance. We'll see.